Okay, this is like herpes guy pins me down part 4. One thing I'm remembering is that when I escorted him back, he had this kind of like, I would say, coercive, verbal, controlling attempt to make sure this was top secret. He tried to intimidate me into silence. And he was doing like a, oh, and what if Brenda knows? And what if Kim knows? And me being a good spy, basically I'm all like, oh, nothing happened. So in one of my emails, that's deceptive of me, but I'm getting through the walk home without any further incident, right? So I'm playing along with his attempts to gag me. Uh, One of the emails I wrote him was like, oh, in when I said nothing happened, I meant like, well, you didn't rape me. I mean, the assault stopped where it stopped. So by nothing happened, I was playing into his need to brush it under the rug, what he had done. So that's the first time we talked about it. The second time we talked about it as roughhousing. The third time I saw him, I was like, you were really out of control. And the fourth time was like, I'm moving. And so then that time I walked him from the record party, and he's all like, "You can't tell my coworker about this. You can't tell. She's really great, and she's really good at what she does, and she's just improved everything, and she can never know." And I'm all like, "Oh, she can never know that you assaulted me? Is that what you're saying?" So that time as well. I mean, the two times the time up the hill and the time up the hill were two separate times I walked him home, and we talked about it, or trying to get some understanding of what's going on. And I think his trying to cut me off from his co-worker and letting her know that he's sketchy and that he's risky and people need to be careful of him in case he sexually harasses or gropes or attacks any other women, that was classic abuser behavior, because he's trying to isolate the problem and separate me off from anyone else. And I recognize that now. And maybe it was only so effective. And maybe I fell for it a little bit. And when he sent me his like August one, like, oh, I'm going back to Kim. Why don't you go back to George? Or like, why don't you and George just have a nice time? I was like, I was never planning on leaving George. I had no interest in you that way. And like, George is non-negotiable. He's cool. So that was kind of like, okay, you're condescending. You're finally hearing my no like a month later. And I remember thinking, okay, now that he's isolating with her, she's so super controlling, I'm not going to get any closure on what you did to me. Why did you assault me? Why did you assault me? So I realized, like, I wrote my handwritten note where I said, you made me uncomfortable, you were aggressive and violent, and it scared me. Then I write my email, and I noticed, like, these couple of times I would run into him around town, he would just get so drawn, like, scared of me. And I think what's kind of funny about it taking me this long to piece it all together and have the energy and time to, like, make any sense of it is that it's so Year of the Snake. It's like I planned from day one. I was just thinking, wow, I can really ruin you, you know? Or you really ruined yourself. And the fact that it took me so long, it makes me feel really dreadfully guilty. And one of the first reach outs I did to his boss was like, this is bothering my conscience. What if he's hurting other people? He hurt me. And how can I be a part of your center and pay my fees and be in a situation where I'm continually afraid of an additional assault? So I think once I put all his bosses on notice about the assault and then looped in the story of PD and the Seaside PD, I felt less scared about an immediate assault because I knew he was being confronted by authority figures. So in a sense, they're doing my bidding to kind of like wrestle with him about like, why are you making this woman feel so uncomfortable? Why are you making her feel terrorized in her own hometown? I hope sincerely Brenda puts the blame where it belongs. I believe in total freedom. I don't believe in anyone being controlled by anything ideologically. But the one thing I don't like is non consensual anything, forceful contact. It's illegal. Hmm. I'm gonna I'm gonna go. I got stuff to do. But peace out, y'all, and don't get raped by herpes man. And if he's gonna rape you, make him wear a condom if you got one handy. Maybe keep one handy. Keep your pepper spray and show him the door and call 911. Police have been less than adequate. I already knew what Astoria police were up to when it came to not taking my ex's violence seriously. So the whole like, well, why didn't you go to the police? It's like, because I already found they don't care when men are violent to women. Other than Nicole. Nicole cares. But she's like one lady cop. We need a lot more lady cops out there because somebody needs to believe women. But I don't think all men are all bad. I think the guys that I talked to, despite a few things they said that kind of seemed insensitive, they overall seemed a lot more with it than losers, sketch bag, scummy men.